So here we go. I want you to imagine that you've been hired by a company called Anti-Smoking Inc. And they sell a product called Don't Smoke. And their competition is big tobacco, ginormous tobacco companies with huge gazillion-dollar budgets that you can't possibly hope to match. And Anti-Smoking Inc. has hired you. They said, look, we want you to work with the teenagers, the teen market here, which is a big problem. At the time that they hire you, 33% of high school students smoke. Huge problem for them, for their families, for their futures. And they want you in particular to go to work in the Florida office. So as you're talking to them, you say, well, tell me what you've been doing. Before I address this, what have you been doing to address this problem? And they say, well, look, we've hired the best experts out there, the best researchers, the best scientists, the best healthcare professionals, the best medical doctors in this field. And then we've also hired the best marketing and advertising people. And we put them together and we send them out to go convince kids to stop smoking. And you say, well, how's that work for you? And they say, oh, not at all. We've been doing this for decades. We haven't made a dent in the problem. But Bill Lee told us that you have a new and a different approach that we hadn't thought of, so that's why you're here. So welcome to your new job. You start in the morning. See you then. So there it is, your first day on the job. You're sitting at your desk and you realize, I'm responsible, you are responsible, for getting teenagers in Florida to quit smoking. You look down at your desk, it's totally blank. You look out, so there's a window wall between you and your colleagues at Anti-Smoking Inc. And every time you look up, they're looking at you wondering, what are you going to do that we haven't thought of? Well, I know what you do. I've been hanging around you all for about 8 years now. I know what you do, and it looks something like this. You're going to say, we need customer references, right? We need advocates. We need influencers. We need to get their testimonials. We need to get them on video. We need to get together peer-to-peer events. We need to get the customers together with the prospects. Those are the tools we're going to use. So you start right away and you start looking for influencers among high school students in Florida. You look at student leaders, you look at athletes, you look at the cool kids, and you start reaching out to them. And you don't repeat the mistake of trying to convince them or sell them to do anything. You engage with them. You're looking for their input. You're looking to partner with them. You're looking to work with them. You're looking to educate them rather than give them a lecture or try to talk them into something. And they respond to this. They've been approached this way before. Your database of influencers starts to build. What do you do next? When you get enough, let's bring them together. Let's have a user conference. One of your colleagues says, well, we're about not smoking. Maybe we shouldn't call it a user conference. You say, oh, okay. How about Teen Tobacco Summit? How's that? Is that all right? Yeah, let's call it that. 600 kids show up to the summit. The atmosphere is charged. I mean, imagine a young person in a ballroom with 600 of her peers, and adults are asking for their advice, their input, their leadership. It electrifies the place. They start opening up. They talk about why the old don't smoking campaigns didn't work. They give you the inside scoop. Then on the spot, they brainstorm a new approach, a new campaign that no expert had ever thought of in decades. And that approach would wind up breaking the monopoly that big tobacco had on the minds of teenage smokers. The word gets out, media starts taking notice, teenagers out there their perceptions start to change a little bit. They begin to think, well, maybe not smoking is cool too. So your colleagues at Anti-Smoking Inc., they're thrilled. This was great. So what are you going to do next? How are you going to keep this momentum going? Your answer is immediate. Customer community. We'll form a community to keep this going. So you give it a name and you help these kids form SWAT. Students Working Against Tobacco. And you have, after that brilliant conference, you have enough leaders to form chapters in 67 counties, every county in the state of Florida. And working with these kids, you give them some funding. They start organizing whistle-stop train tours to take their message into these communities. They start putting on workshops. They're recruiting members. They loved your conference so much they decided to make it an annual conference. So they're recruiting members. They're shooting more video. They're creating more advertising campaigns. What's the result of all this? After just the first year, teen smoking in the state of Florida dropped significantly. And it's the first time an anti-smoking campaign had that result. Second year, drops again, significantly. And in less than 10 years, teen smoking in Florida has been cut about in half. Unprecedented. Other states start to take notice of what you've done here. New York, South Carolina, they start adapting your methods. They get the same result. Teen smoking in those states cut about half. So what's my point? My point is that what you do and what was done to help solve this problem is typical of what you do every day in your jobs and what you learn from your peers here.